Uma madam, shall we start the session?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, good evening, my dear friends. I extend a very hearty welcome to every one of you for today's session. Today and tomorrow, we have a special session on seed therapy. Friends, before I hand over the session, let us do just 3 minutes of meditation so that we are rejuvenated mentally and our perception level will improve. What we have to do, we have to sit straight. Let your legs be crossed, vertebrae be straight, hands locked, relax, close your eyes. Just watch your thought. Close your eyes, watch your thought. Flow of thought is mind. When we watch the mind, when we witness the mind, when we see the mind, mind becomes silent. Keep on observing the thought, mind becomes silent. When mind is silent, it cannot take you haywire. You will automatically come to presence. Your awareness level will improve. Your perception level will improve. By practicing this, slowly you will come to know that there is a witness consciousness which is watching the mind. Who is watching the mind? The seer in you. That is our true self. In acupressure, what we treat is energy with consciousness. More than anything else, friends, when mind is silent, it will not consume energy. Our body's total energy consumption is 40% in brain alone. Even if you are not speaking, but you are thinking about past or future, it consumes a lot of energy. When we meditate, we are rejuvenated. Your energy level is stored, restored. You'll be very energetic and alert. Don't allow any thoughts to crop up. Watch your thoughts. Now gently rub your palms. Make a cup out of it. Close it on your eyes. Slowly open your eyes. Friends, acupressure itself is a very simple therapy based on energy in the body. We all know that. Any imbalance in the flow of pathway of energy causes disharmony, disease in the health. And when we correct the flow of energy in its pathway called meridians, the health is restored. It is very easy. And where to correct, where the imbalance is there and for which where we have to correct it. The switchboard of acupoints are located in our hands and palms and soul, and it's very easy to balance the imbalance of flow to restore energy. And the mode of giving pressure could be either magnet, it is called magnetotherapy. If we use color, it is called color therapy. If we use seed, it is called seed therapy. And in seed therapy, it is very, very simplest form of therapy, which is very, very effective. Efficacy wise, it is very effective and very easy to treat, easy to understand, because simply, we let you know for which disease where to apply seed. I mean, a little bit of background will be discussed certainly. And to understand this, We have the best of faculty through our beloved faculty of our Samsthan, backbone of our Ishan, Dr. Uma Rao, who is an expert in this field, has kindly consented to take the session for today and tomorrow from 7:30 to 9. On behalf of every participant, I extend a very hearty welcome to our beloved Dr. Uma Rao K to take charge now. Welcome, Madam. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. So at the outset, thanks to all of you for joining the session. And Dr. Ravindra said, I'm an expert. I'm not an expert. I'm still an amateur. And so that's the first thing, the first disclaimer. Second, I am in a rural part of Karnataka. So I might have a power cut and it may take about 30 to 40 seconds for the generator to come on. So please bear with me because it's erratic. Sometimes the power is not interrupted in the nights, but sometimes it may go. So stay on. The moment the generator comes on, I will be back. So today and tomorrow, we are going to deal with seed therapy. As I said, I'm still, I can call myself more or less a beginner. And the only edge I have is that I have been in the teaching profession for almost 37 years, though I teach something else. And so maybe I have the skill of teaching. And otherwise, I'm still learning a lot. I do hope there are some freshers in the group. And this talk would encourage you to enroll into a full-fledged course for a couple of semesters. And for those of you who already are into acupressure, I do hope that it's not very boring for you because you may know some of the things I am telling. So now, acu means a needle-like point. I think we all know that. So you have infinite points on your body. You have infinite points on your body. So different philosophies of treatment using acutherapy use different set of points. Okay. So the oldest maybe is the traditional Chinese meridian, TCM, Chinese medicines. So there they have a set of meridians. And these meridians are identified along the body. And there are about 14 important meridians and some extra meridians also. So originally the treatment was by puncturing these points on the body. That is acupuncture, very old. So they would either puncture with a thorn or with the edge of a stone, sharpen a stone and puncture it. And they found a lot of therapeutic values. So next came the biggest discovery that all these points on the body are mapped on the hands. Okay. So then what happened? People shifted from acupuncture to acupressure. So instead of treating points on the body, every point, the acupoint on the body had a corresponding point on the palms. And so people started treating on the palms, on the palm of the patient. And to apply pressure, so basically what you have to do is you have to stimulate the point. How we identify the points, we'll see later. That's not important. So I identify a particular point and I need to stimulate it. So basically, one discovery what people made very recently is, though this art or science, whatever you call, has been in vogue for thousands of years, they found that, you know, the resistance of the skin at these points is different. Okay, so they got a scientific explanation. For a long, you know what happens? Western medicine often shoos away any traditional way of treatment. They say it has no scientific basis, right? So scientific basis means there's no explanation. They say you can't explain. So just by pressing this, some headache is gone. You can't explain it. So it is unscientific. And it's just a coincidence that it works. That's the normal way it's approached. So now what they found, because of sophisticated meters, they found that the resistance of these points, which have been identified thousands of years ago, is different. So the nerve cells which are just beneath these points, when you stimulate them, it has a therapeutic value. That is the recent discovery. Now, stimulate means excite. Stimulate means excite. So the nerve cells in our body, they give an impulse. They send out impulses. So what happens is, when I stimulate, the nerve cell sends impulse. And this impulse gets relayed, right? So how do I stimulate? I can just stimulate by pressing the point. Whichever point I have identified, I just press it using my fingers. One simple way of applying pressure. Otherwise, we use small magnets, because you see the magnet has to fit. You have to put it on your palm, so they're very tiny, 1 mm, 2 mm, 3 mm radius, small magnets. Or we can use color. So these are all the various ways of stimulating the points. Okay. So now let's see a couple of philosophies of treatment. One, as I said, is the traditional Chinese medicine. So where there are meridians identified all over your body, and these meridians are also mapped on your fingers. So you have a choice. You can either treat the point on the body, or you can treat the point on the palms. Okay, there are points both on the front and the back of the palms. So approximately around 365 important points have been identified. There are some more. Now the problem is, to use this, you need to know about the meridians. You need to know a lot about the way energy is viewed in the Chinese system and so on. And once you know that, yes, the protocol development is easy, but it requires a lot of learning. Okay. The second method, completely the discovery of samsthan, is what is called as the Ayurvedic acupressure. So the experts, professors, therapists, researchers from the samsthan, they have beautifully embedded Ayurvedic principles into acupressure and come up with protocols for therapy. Now, this is also fantastic, works very well, but again, you have to learn a lot, because we need to know what are the energies which have to be activated, what are the energies which have to be increased, what energy has to be decreased, and where do I map the particular organ, and so on. It requires, again, a lot of learning. The third one is sujok, right? It was a Korean discovery and extensively used in seed therapy. And something very similar is in reflexology, what they call. So I just love this, because anybody, including a child, can learn this. Very easy to learn and very good for immediate effect in many, many cases. And so today and tomorrow we'll be seeing this. How to use seeds for therapeutic value. Again, it's a field of acupressure. As I said, these are all different philosophies of treatment. These are different philosophies of treatment. There is no proclamation that one is better than the other. They're all different ways of doing it. So in today's session, I will be talking to you about the correspondence of the body on the palm and also on the foot, but very difficult to treat on the foot because we'll be walking, but very easy to treat on the palm. So we'll see how the various body parts are marked on the palm. This is different from the meridians, okay? In both Ayurvedic acupressure as well as Chinese acupressure, we use meridians. But here we don't use any meridians. We directly use the body organs. So if you want to know where the liver is, I will show you where the liver is mapped. If you want to know where your knee is mapped, I will show you. You will easily understand. You don't have to tax your brain at all. Very simple. Whereas if you want to use, treat liver using, say, Ayurvedic acupressure or Chinese acupressure, you have to know about which meridian to choose. And in that, which energy, the heat energy, the wind energy, what energy you have to work on and so on. You don't have to apply any of these logic for seed therapy, and that's what we'll be doing. Okay. So in today's session, I will only concentrate on the mapping. Tomorrow, we will do the practical. How to apply the seeds. We'll see various common problems we have and how you can quickly get a remedy. And you will be, you'll really wonder how a few seeds of maybe methi or chana dal or matar can, give you so much of relief under different conditions. Okay. So I think the premise of the talk is clear. And if you have any doubts, we'll reserve it for the end, kindly, so that the flow of my delivery is not disturbed. So now I'll be sharing my screen. I'll be sharing a PPT. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, we could see.
Yeah, thank you. So kindly all of you mute yourselves. So as I said, acu means needle. Acutherapy is stimulation given to specific needle-like points on the body. Specific needle-like points on the body. It's for therapeutic usage. You can also use it to maintain your health. Okay. All that you have to do to maintain your health is keep energizing all the points on your palms and walk barefoot. All the points will automatically be energized, including make sure you energize your webs, the tips, everything. That's all that you need to do. And we'll be using three main concepts in any acute treatment. The first is the concept of ki or chi. So the entire concept of treatment through acutherapy is based on the way disease is viewed. So disease is simply defined as an imbalance of energy. That's all. Imbalance of energy in your body. Imbalance means what? Energy can be high, excess, energy can be low, or energy can stagnate. Supposing you have a blood clot, a tumor, there's a stagnation of energy at those points. Or energy can flow in the opposite direction. If you vomit, what happens? Your food is supposed to go from top to bottom. It comes from bottom to top. That is opposite. So instead of going into details, we'll just say that any disturbance in the balance of energy in the body is disease. And that's the concept used for treatment. So all that you have to do is balance the energy. That's all. And we'll see about the concept of yin and yang. What it means, I'll show you, very simple. And elements. Basically, elements means these are the elements in nature. Okay. So nature has 5 physical elements. In any philosophy you take across the world, that is ether. Ether is space, or we call it as akash. Air. Air is called vayu. And then fire. Fire is called agni in Indian languages. And then you have water, that is jal. And then you have earth, which is called prithvi. So right from physics, science, everything says that everything in the universe is made of these 5 elements. Likewise, your body is also made of these 5 elements. You have space in your body. You have so much of empty space inside. right? You have a stomach which is empty, you fill it. And then you have water. Water means not literally water, fluids. You have a lot of fluids. You have blood, you have tears, you have sweat, you have saliva. All this is a water component. Then you have air, very important for life. We breathe in, we breathe out. There is so much of circulation within the body. Air causes circulation. And then you have fire. Fire means what? Don't think there is some flame inside. Acid. Acidic. That's your stomach. So what does fire do? Fire breaks. Fire breaks things. So you have acid in your stomach to break down your food and take whatever is good. Prithvi. Prithvi means matter. There's so much of matter, all your organs, your cells, everything. Solid matter. So you see, your body also has these 5 elements. This is there even in philosophy, in Indian scriptures, everywhere. This concept is there. So to apply Ayurvedic acupressure or Chinese acupressure, these element knowledge is very important. Which organs are associated with which element? Like which are the organs associated with, say, fire? Which are the organs associated with water and so on? And then you have to treat based on that. But in seed therapy, you don't need to know all that. Okay, so let's carry on with this. So I just thought I'll mention the elements because it's useful to know that you are nothing more than inside. If you know, the body structure is just made of these 5 elements. Now, as we saw, the method of stimulation is needles. And obviously, you can see why this is not very much preferred, because you need a lot of skill. Somebody recently told me, you come 15-day course, I'll teach you acupressure, you join the course. I said, no, I'm already 60 and my hands are not very steady. I'm not confident in going and pricking somebody, right? And you have to properly sterilize. And the exact location of the point is very important because the needle has a very small tip. The surface area of stimulation has to be very accurate. Whereas if you apply pressure like this, you know, it goes over a broader area, so no problem. Your area, you can definitely it'll be covered. Okay. So needles require a lot of skill. We can apply seeds, we can apply magnets, we can apply pressure using fingers, we can apply with light or with color. Different color lights are also used. Light also you can use. Okay. These are the methods of stimulation. So what does stimulation do? As I said, very simple. The nerve cells below the skin where it is activated gets stimulated. Today, this is measurable. Okay. Till now, what people thought is just coincidence that some things work. Now they know why it works. It's very clearly known. Now we will use simple correspondence for seed therapy, right? Now this correspondence also is not unique. So one of the pioneers in India in acupressure was Sri Devendra Vora. Okay. So in fact, he was one of the people who motivated the Aspias Samsthan into existence. So he uses a particular set of points on the fingers. Then you have Sujok correspondence. Then you have an Ayurvedic Tulyartha correspondence. So all of them are slightly different. They're all different. Now there's nothing like, you know, somebody asked me, oh, in this, don't get worried if you go somewhere and see a poster and they mark the heart somewhere else and I show you somewhere else. So I am an engineer by profession. So I know that if you want to solve a problem, there are different methods of solution. And the methods may not even bear any similarity. But what is important is you should understand the problem and you need to solve it. So the way to solve it is different. So why I'm telling you this is, I get sometimes after I give a talk, I get a message, ma'am, you showed this correspondence. I went to a shop to buy a chart and the chart was entirely different, or I read this book and it's entirely different. Yes, they're all different. And with due respect to everybody, all of them work. All of them work. Okay. So as I said, what is important is see the problem and the solution. If it works, fine. Okay. So now we have in seed therapy, what we are going to see is how to use the similarity of the palms and foot to our body Very easy to understand. If you have your grandchildren or children also, you bring them, they will also understand the lecture. It's that easy. And it's very effective, and it's very logical. I put this last one because when I started learning acupressure, honestly, the first 2 semesters were a nightmare. I just did not get the logic of the meridians. The Chinese meridians, they say liver, and you have a problem somewhere in the heart, they'll treat the lung meridian, and you have somewhere else a problem and they treat the stomach meridian. It was so confusing. I could not get the logic. It took me a lot of learning and introspection to get the logic. Whereas here it's very logical. You can easily understand. Now, just for an example, there is one treatment where they call it as ocular treatment. That means they treat only based on the points on the ear only. All the problems are treated with points on the ear. So they have something called as an ear correspondence. So you just see here, this is the shape of our ear, and this is how the fetus is in the womb. And based on this, some points have been marked here. So where different parts of the body have been marked. And again, they use either pressure or they use magnet to do it. And just to give you a small story, what happened? I was just discussing this with one student a couple of years ago. I was basically a teacher of engineering, and I was just discussing with a student, and I was just telling her about this. And she was, again, we are both electrical engineers, and she was very interested. And you know what she did? She said, "Ma'am, you just tell me something about this acupressure." And I just told her about this ear correspondence, though I don't know the points. She researched, she found the points. And you know what she did? She designed beautiful earrings, studs with magnets for different ailments. So you just have to put a earring, and now, you know, people pierce all over the ear. So they used to just put it, and she even patented that, and she plans to manufacture that. Okay, so that's one way of looking at it. So this is the ear correspondence. Now we will see the correspondence we are going to use. Okay, so we'll see the similarities. Every slide we'll see the similarities. So now you see, what you see on the right is your body. Very crudely, how a child of 3 or 4 would draw the body. So you have a trunk shown by the circle, and you have 2 hands sticking out, and 2 legs sticking out, and your head sticking out. Okay. So these are called extremities. Your hands and legs are called as extremities. Then you have the head, and you have the trunk. So first realize that your sense organs are in the head, right? Your sense organs, especially the eyes, the nose, the ears, the mouth. The other one is the skin. Skin is there all over your body, but these are on your head. And all your major organs are in the trunk. All your organs, heart, lungs, kidney, your digestive tract, then your excretion, your reproductive organs, everything is in the trunk. And then you have your hands and legs for voluntary movement. Hands and legs for movement and doing work and different activities. So now let's see our palm. Okay. So I put a circle. So obviously this maps to the trunk of your body. The palm of your hand. Okay. Now you remember that your body has both front and back. Your body has both front and back. So this part of the hand, the front part of the palm and the back, they are mapped. The trunk is mapped here. Now you have 4 extremities, 2 hands and 2 legs. Those are your 4 fingers. I will tell you how to identify which is which hand, which leg. We'll see that later. Right hand, right leg, we will see. So these are your 4 fingers. So 2 will be hands and 2 will be legs. Now, what is your head? Your head is sticking out from the trunk. All these are attached to the trunk. Okay. See, your hands are attached at the shoulders. Your legs are attached at the hips, and your head is attached at the neck. So all the 5 are attached to the trunk. And the head is small. compared to legs and hands. So therefore, the smallest digit I have is the thumb, and the thumb is the head portion. So this is the first thing you have to remember in correspondence. Very easy, right? Your 4 fingers are your hands and legs. We'll soon see which hand and which leg. We'll see that. Just understand for now that these are the 4 extremities, 2 hands, 2 legs, and the thumb is the head, and the palm portion is the trunk, the front of the trunk and back of the trunk. Okay, back you have the spine, and you have kidneys at the back. So this is the first thing you have to remember in correspondence. Now, the second is the concept of yin and yang. These are 2 Chinese terms. Why this is common is, if at all you look at any chart, whether it's Suzhou or Chinese or acupressure, whatever you see in any acupressure chart, they'll say the yin side, yang side, they say. Now, yang stands for dark. Yin is light. It's not a literal translation. Yin doesn't mean light and yang doesn't mean dark. These are the properties. These are like 2 different aspects of energy. Yin and yang are 2 aspects of energy. So you know that any energy always has to be controlled, right? We need water to live. But if we have too much of water, flood, please mute all of you. Flood occurs and we need air to breathe. Too much of wind, tornadoes, hurricanes, destruction, cyclone. So everything needs a balance. Too much of feminine qualities,
500 rupees.
not good. Too much of masculine qualities is also not good. So every female body, excuse me, somebody is on. Can you please mute yourself?
Mohan sir.
Yeah. And you know that every female body has both male hormones, but more of female hormones. Similarly, the male body has more of male hormones, but it does have female hormones. So you find a balance. That is the concept, basic concept in Chinese acupressure about yin and yang, opposites. They're basically opposites meant to balance. So without going into details, we'll see what this has to do with correspondence. So let us say the yin is light and the yang is dark. So if you look at your body, right, our front portion of the body is definitely lighter than our back portion. And if you see your hand, this portion is lighter than the back. Similarly, your foot, what you find on the foot, the front portion and the back portion, you have a light portion and you have a dark portion. Okay, so how do I identify yin and yang? Imagine we go on all 4s, like an animal, like a 4-legged animal. Then the parts exposed to the sun would be darker. That is your back, the back of your head, and one side of your hands and one side of your legs. And the inner side would be fairer. This is true even in animals. You just see a dog. The inner side of the dog will be very fair. Any animal you see, a cow, a buffalo. A buffalo is black, but the inner side will be light gray. So every animal has this. So same way. Only thing is we humans, now no longer we are on all 4s, but we have retained the darkness and the light. Because now when I stand in sun, both my sides are equally exposed, but still evolution over years has made the back portion darker. So the darker side is the yang and the inner side is the yin. Same thing with your hand. This is the yin, the lighter side is yin, and the darker side at the back is yang. Okay. Same thing on your foot. The inner side of your foot is yin, and what you see on top, which is darker, is yang. This is the second thing you remembered in correspondence. Now, look at another beautiful analogy here and a similarity. So if you see your hands and legs, how many joints does your hand have? Your hand has 3 joints. The shoulder, the elbow, and the wrist, right? And same thing in your leg. Your leg also has 3 joints. The hip joint, which joins the trunk, the knee joint, and the ankle joint. So what is the premise of this? Our extremities, hands and legs, both have 3 joints. Okay? Now we'll apply logic. Look at all of you, look at your fingers. Your fingers also have 3 joints, right? Your fingers have 3 joints. There are 3 parts in your finger, clearly with a demarcation, a line, a horizontal line, dividing it so beautifully into 3 parts. Okay? Now, which is, so again I said, let us not bother which hand is, right hand, left hand, I will tell you. But right now, you can see that one joint is attached to the trunk and one joint is away from the trunk, the top joint of your fingers. Same logic we will apply what is there in the body. So what is attached, which joint is attached to the trunk? The legs, the hip joint. In the legs, it is the hip joint. Okay. So in your fingers, the joint touching the palm will be either the hip joint if it is a leg, or the shoulder joint if it is a hand. It will be a shoulder joint if it is a hand. And what are the middle joints? In the hand, it is elbow, and in the leg, it is knee. So the middle joint will correspond to either elbow or knee. And what is the last joint away from the trunk? In the leg, it is the ankle, and in the hand, it is the wrist. So you see here, this would be either hip or shoulder, and the middle joint would be elbow or knee, and the last joints would be wrist and ankle. So beautifully, you have an analogy, right? And on your head, so you have here the throat, and then you have a small neck region, and then the head. So likewise on your thumb, you can see, in the thumb, actually the first and second joints are very close. In some people, actually, there is only one line here instead of 2. So more or less, your thumb is divided into 2 parts. So the upper part is the face, and the lower part is this region, the neck region. Okay. Now, as I said, I have used one set of figures. Some other correspondence may be slightly different. It doesn't matter. I've taken whichever is the easiest to understand. So this is the diaphragm. So what is the diaphragm? A diaphragm is a muscle which sits just below your lungs. It sits below your lungs. It has got a lot of work to do. It actually is very important in the way you breathe. So it expands, contracts the diaphragm continuously. So it divides into upper part, that is above the diaphragm, the lung, heart, and then the lower part. So this is the diaphragm in your body. Okay. And here you have the diaphragm at the back. So on the palm, all of you look at your palm, you can see this line, a clear demarcation. And here actually this part of the palm will be slightly swollen. Okay, it will be slightly swollen for everybody. So this is the diaphragm in the front, and here is you can look at this thumb below, this is the diaphragm at the back. If you don't understand, don't bother. If you don't understand this concept of diaphragm, leave it. For those of you who are interested in knowing something, you do. So the in surface, as you can see, is the front side. The yang surface is the back side. Right? So you have the diaphragm here on your palm marked. The diaphragm is marked. This line is only needed for you to understand how the organs are corresponded on the palm. That's all. Next slide will make it clear. Now you see the lower line of the diaphragm is here. All of you mark this point. The lower line of the diaphragm is here. So keep your hands down, facing down, with the fingers facing down, Okay. So this is the lower edge of the diaphragm, means just look at the previous figure. Here, this is the lower edge. So all the organs come below this, below the lower edge, from here. So this is the upper organs and these are the lower organs. So now correlate this with your hand. So keep your hand like this. If this is the lower edge of the diaphragm, that means the organs are like this, placed downwards. The organs are placed downwards. Okay. Now, for example, let us take the bottom. Okay. That is our either the anus or the genital region. So where would it be? It's away from the diaphragm. It's away from the diaphragm. For you to remember, I'm telling you. So now if this is the diaphragm, obviously the genitals, etc. would move away. So you have here, you see here, your stomach, large intestine and all will come here. So they'll all move away from here. And likewise, here, they will all move away from here. They'll all move away from here. Let us forget the leg for the time being. Let us only concentrate on the hand. Okay. Now, what about at the back? So below the diaphragm, what happens? You have the upper back above the diaphragm, and then the mid back, the lower back, and the coccyx bone. The coccyx bone is the bone on which you sit when you sit. So they move away from the diaphragm. They come down. So you see, you will be moving like this. You will be moving like this. Right. The next slide will make this very clear why we needed this. Now look at this. This is the only slide you have to remember blindly. You can forget everything I told you. Just remember this slide. What is this? This is your actual body, the way your organs are. So you have the liver. This is from top to bottom. Top to bottom. So this is your food pipe. This is your food pipe. So these are all the organs of the trunk. These are all organs of the trunk. Okay. So from the food pipe, you know, where does the food go? The food goes to the stomach. The food goes to the stomach. Okay. Then here you have the liver. The liver is on the right side of the body. The liver is on the right side of the body. Right. Next, from the stomach, the food goes to the small intestine, and structurally the small intestine is embedded inside the large intestine. This is how the actual digestive system looks inside your body. Right? And then here you have this is below the diaphragm. Then you have above the diaphragm, what are the two organs, important organs you have? You have the heart and the lungs. Above the diaphragm, you have the heart and you have the lungs. This is below the diaphragm. From the diaphragm below is your digestive system and this. Okay. This is how your body is. Now let's come to how it is mapped in the hand. Very simple. So you see, I told you this is your diaphragm line, the lower diaphragm line, and here is the front side of the diaphragm, the upper diaphragm line. Let us again look back into this. See here, this part. This is, look at the region shaded here. This is the region shaded. So all this belongs to the shaded region. So what do I have here? I look at the trunk. Here I have the heart and lungs. So that should be in this portion of the palm. And below, the lower line of the diaphragm is here. So what are the organs here? The organs here are the rest of the organs. That is your large intestine, small intestine. And you're moving away. This way, when you move, you're moving downwards in your body. You're moving downwards in your body. How do you remember it? Keep your hand like this. Don't look at your hand facing you. Keep it down. So you're moving downwards. You're moving downwards. That's how you see it. So now you see, this portion has my lungs. Lungs is here. That is the padded portion. Here, the padded portion. And your heart is situated very close to your left lung, on the left side of the body. Actually, the right lung has 3 lobes and the left has 1 less. So where there is, there is a lack of a lobe, your heart fits in there. So the heart is here in between the 2 lungs. Now what I told you is, in this particular way of treatment, you don't need to be an artist and draw the heart, lungs, everything pakka. No, you know the region. So you know this line, major line in our palm, and this mold here, where there is a slight swelling in the palm. Okay, press it. You know what? This is called as the Mount of Venus. So people where this is very prominent, they're supposed to be very romantic because it's the heart region. That I realize now. But even when we were kids, they would say, whoever has this very prominent, they're very romantic people. And this is where your heart is. So all that you have to know is this region. That's all. No pakka, no point or anything. The region, if you know, it's enough. The region, if you know, it's enough. Okay. Now, let us see so this is the heart and lungs. This is the upper part of your, above your diaphragm in the trunk, fixed. Okay. This is your left hand because you're looking at it from the front. This figure is looking from the front. And why it's drawn is because that's how you have to view it. You have to view it like this when your palm is down, not with your palm facing you. That's why any book you open, all the hands are down, facing downwards. I took a long time to understand why they draw it like this and why can't they draw it like this where I can see it. That's the reason. Okay. Next, we'll come to one important point, that is our output. Where does the food go out? Through the rectum and anus, right? Since this is the diaphragm and this moves away from the lower part of the diaphragm, this is the end of the trunk, So that point is here. Remember this point. Where is this? This is in between in the web, between your ring finger and middle finger. All of you touch it. In between your ring finger and middle finger. Here, this point. This is your anus point. Okay. And you can go up to the back also here. And I'll tell you 2-3 very, very simple problems people had, which I treated in the last 10 to 15 days. First was myself. I was traveling a lot and I had severe burning during urination. And it became unbearable. All that I did was I put a few methi seeds here. That's all, 3-4. And in one day, my pain and burning sensation went off. This is the first thing, what happened in the recent. And about 10 days back, one of my cousins who works a lot with computers, she's been sitting for a very long time. And so in between her butt, she got a huge abscess. So she just called me and she was far away. She said, I don't know, I'm not able to sit. It's becoming so painful. It's full of pus. I said, okay, just let me try. I told her the same thing. I said, put a few methi seeds here. And believe it or not, after 5 days, she said, you know what? It didn't even break. It slowly just sort of fizzled out. All that pus, decreased. And she said by 5 days, the pain had gone and that that abscess also had dissolved. So these are just 2 examples. So that is how powerful it can be, the simple seeds. Okay. So always remember this point, because problem of urination and all is very common with most of us. And if you use public toilets, you're very prone to infections, especially women. So always just remember this point and just if you don't have seed anything, you just do this. Okay. So now we know one more point. And then the large intestine, you can see it's also called as the colon. Okay. The main job of the large intestine is to throw out waste. Before the food comes to the large intestine, majority of water, nutrients, etc. have been absorbed. The major part of absorption is in the small intestine. So only after it comes to the largest intestine, the remaining small part, nutrients left will be absorbed, and then the waste will be thrown out. Okay. So the waste by contraction, the waste will be thrown out. So this is the large intestine, and exactly the same way it is mapped in your hand. We know the last point of the large intestine is the rectum, and then it goes out through the anus. So this, is the rectum point. So just draw like this, exactly like this. Today I'll share the PDF. And I'll ask Ravindra sir to share it with all the groups, whoever are here. And you can just look at it. And tomorrow when we apply the seeds, you can refer to this. You'll know. And where is the small intestine? Inside the large intestine here. As I said, this figure is beautiful, but you don't have to draw this figure on your hand. Approximately know the region. So this is your large intestine. This is your anal region. And somewhere here is the large intestine and small intestine. So if you have problems with, say, digestion, like constipation, loose motion, just press this. If you have nothing to do, you can just press this area. Okay. Next, liver. Liver is triangular shaped. It's on the right side. So if you keep it like this, if you keep the hand like this is the liver point. This is the liver on this side. Okay, on the right side. The liver is on the right side. And here towards the left, the stomach is slightly towards the left. So here you have the stomach. And just above the stomach, you will have the spleen. And here below, here you have the pancreas. And above the liver, you have the gallbladder. Is it difficult? Very easy. Very, very easy to understand. So your major organs, you have everything on the palm. Clear? Now we'll come to the hands and legs slightly later. So this is the same image I have inverted. So now you see, now you can look at your hands. If you want to remember this, fine. But initially you may find this convenient because that's how you will see in all the books. Now you see here. So your lungs and heart are mapped here. Your stomach is here. Your pancreas are here. Your liver is on the right side. This is the left hand. This is the left hand. You can see this is the front side. So this is the left hand. And then this is your anus point. So your large intestine is here, and embedded in the large intestine is the small intestine. So the major organs in the front are covered here in the front of the palm. Okay. Now, again, I'll tell you this leg and hands. I'll just reserve it for slightly later. We'll see. That I'll do it without the slide so that you'll understand it easily. So this is the same thing plotted. Okay. Only thing is this is the right hand. That is the left hand and this is the right hand. So right hand, again, this is the diaphragm. So the lung and heart are mapped here. And at the back, what do you have at the back? I have the cervical portion of your spine. Look at this. Your spine is like this. So you see why it's called like a snake, the kundalini. When you energize it, it's supposed to rise like a snake. So because it looks like a snake. So you have the first 7 vertebrae, C1 to C7 here on top in your neck. And then you have the thoracic vertebrae. And then you have the lumbar. Then you have the sacrum and coccyx. Normally this sacrum, there are around 5 bones normally in adults, and coccyx there are 4 or 5. So these are fused as one. Generally they are fused when the baby grows up. So the major portion is this, the cervical vertebrae, the thoracic vertebrae, and the lumbar vertebrae. So your vertebrae, there are bones. Okay. So in between you have a disc which has a gel-like substance. So this acts as a cushion. This acts as a cushion. So this gel will absorb fluid in the night when you're sleeping, when you're resting, and for your activities, it will release the fluid. So whenever you have a slip disc, what happens? This disc of gel will move out and 2 bones will rub and you get pain. And it's natural with age that this disc gets compressed. With age, the disc automatically gets compressed. So you'll find that as people grow older and older, what happens? They won't be able to stand straight. They bend and it looks like they grow shorter. That's because the discs become weaker. Fine. Now, how do I map it? So we saw this, no? The thumb region is this region above your trunk. So that is the neck and the head. So the first part, the top part of the thumb is the head, and the lower part is the neck region. So the cervical bone at the back, it starts from your neck. And so you see it now I have chosen the back of the hand. So you see exactly how your body is exactly the same way. It's there on your hand. So from here to here, you just see this, how it is mapped. So here is the cervical spine, then your vertebrae. And then remember, this is the bottom point. So bottom, because we are moving away. This is the diaphragm. So this is moving away from the diaphragm. That means you're going from top to bottom in your body. Right? So the coccyx bone would be here. This would be the coccyx bone end. So whenever you're sitting and you have a pain while you're sitting, it happens to people who work for long hours at desk. And sometimes, there's a small hole at the bottom of your spine. You can just feel it, just where your butt starts. Sometimes there'll be some sort of a pus or a watery, smelly fluid secreted if you sit for very long hours. So all that you have to do is you have to press this point. So this is how the back is mapped. Tomorrow I'll tell you how to put seats, right? So what do you have to remember here? You only have to remember that this part is the back portion. That is your spinal region. And now remember that any problem with the spine, all the nerves come out. From each of these vertebrae, a pair of nerves. So each nerve will have two roots. And what does the nerve do? The nerve carries impulses. The nerve carries impulses. So it will, supposing I want to move my hand, you want to move your hand. So the brain sends a signal to your hand to move. And once you move it, you have to stop moving. Na? So the hand will say, I have moved, and then return signal will go to the brain. So you have signals going from the brain to different parts of the body and from different parts of the body to the brain. And all these nerves are from the spine. So any problem with the spine, you will get pain somewhere. You can get a pain in the leg, in the hip, at the back, anywhere. Because all the nerves start from there. So very important for you to take care of your spine. So this is how the spine is mapped. And your kidney is at the back. So you see, all of you look at this figure, you can feel, you just go down this line. So just identify the finger between, anyway, now once I stop sharing, I will tell you how to do it. Identify the point between your ring finger and middle finger, the web, and just trace a line down. That is your spine. And from the thumb. So it will go into your memory. And beside this line are the two kidney points. Okay. This is how it is mapped on the foot also. I don't use the foot because it's not easy to, treat on the underside of the foot. So I will restrict my talk only to the hands. Okay. Now let's see a few things. Okay. So now we saw, what all did we see? You saw how to map your major organs here. So a few things you can remember 2-3 times if you think of it. So you have your heart and lungs here. Okay. And then this is your exit point. And then you have the liver. On the right side. And here on the upper portion, you have the small intestine and the large intestine. And somewhere here, the stomach, pancreas, and gallbladder. Again, I'm repeating, you don't have to be an artist, draw and know approximately what it is. You can always refer to the chart when you use the seats. Now at the back, so all of you feel this point? Yeah, this is your lowest bone, the coccyx bone, the pelvic bone. And from here you can go, and as you move here, you'll feel 2 depressions here. That is your kidney point. Just move your finger and you'll get a sort of a depression. And then from here is your cervical region. Simple backaches and, pain in the neck. Lot of issues you can treat with this. I'll show you tomorrow how to do it. Now, what is left over for us is our face. Where is our face? Our face is on the thumb. Right? So see here, if this is my body, this is my trunk starts here. So this is the neck and this is the face. So this will be the neck, this throat region, and this is the face region. Very simple, very easy to remember, right? So obviously the top portion will be your head here. This will be your head. Okay. Now all of you look at your hands, look at your thumb. You will see a small protrusion here. Can you see that? All of you please look at your thumbs. And in the thumb, you'll see a small protrusion here. Can you see it? Maybe if you're very old, it may have flattened, but at least youngsters can see it. Here. Where is the protrusion in your face? It is the nose. So this portion is the nose. And from the nose, on the two sides, you have the eyes. So you'll have the eyes here. Eyes here. And ears away. So if you just look at your ears, where is the ear? Ear is like, you know, so this is the front portion and this is the back portion. So in between the front and back, you have the ear, right? So you look at your thumb. This is the front portion. This is the back portion. And you will see a line here where one side of the line is lighter in shade and the other side is darker in shade. So that is where your ears will be here. This is your ear point. See, so simple. So simple. So I have the nose, the eyes, and the ears. Tomorrow when we do the seats, I will draw. It's very easy. Here. And this portion is this. And this lower portion is this joint. So what will this portion be? This portion will be your throat and the back of your neck. This portion. Clear? Now, what is left? We know the organs. We know the face. So, what is left now? Hands and legs. Hands and legs. Now, first, all of you take your left hand. Take your left hand. And this is how, just bend it down. Bend it down like this. Right? So, since it's your left hand, we will start from left to right. So this is my left hand. When I move my left, what is the first? So you have four extremities, 2 hands and 2 legs. These are the 4 extremities. So when I move from left to right, first I get the left hand. Okay. And what is the next extremity you see? Supposing you move from this side to this side, which is the next extremity you will see? The left leg. The left leg. And after that, what do you see? The right leg, and then you see the right hand, right? So supposing I stand like this with my, just see if I were to stand, and when I move from left to right, what do you get? You get my left hand, left leg, right hand, right? So the same thing in your fingers. Start with this edge. So this will be left hand, which you get first, then left leg, then right leg, and then right hand. Got it? All of you repeat in your left hand. Left leg, sorry, left hand first. After that, left leg. After that, right leg. After that, right hand. Easy. Very easy to remember. You don't have to memorize. So easy. Now, again, if I stand and move from my right to left, what do you see? First, I get right hand. Then I get right leg. Then left leg and then left hand. When I move from right to left. So take your right hand. Take your right hand. We'll move from right to left. So what do you get first? Right hand. Then right leg. Then left leg. Then left hand. Got it? So very easy. Even if you forget, just see, remember. This is my thing. Left hand. Left leg, right hand. Here start from right hand, right leg, left hand. So you have both your legs and both your hands on both the hands. So if you want left leg, you can treat on the left hand or you can treat on the right hand. One is called as primary and one is called as the secondary. If you treat on the same side, it's called as primary. If you treat on the other side, it's called as secondary treatment. Now, Clear? Now I think you know how to identify. Now the joints. So this is my left hand. This is my left hand. So this joint is attached to the trunk. This is my trunk. So in the hand, which is the joint attached to the trunk? It is the shoulder joint. So this is your shoulder joint, because this is the hand. And what is the next joint in the hand? It is the elbow joint. So next I have the elbow joint. Next is the wrist. Next is the wrist joint. So this last joint, this is the wrist joint. So I have shoulder, elbow, wrist. So what is this region in between shoulder and elbow? This upper arm. Supposing your upper arm is paining. Let us say you lifted some weight and this arm is paining. What do you have to do? This is the left hand. This point, if you press, this is your upper arm. Just press, like magic it will work, I tell you. You can just feel the pain going away if it's there. It may not be for a chronic case, but something you get suddenly because you lifted something or you just hit somewhere. And what is this portion from the elbow to the wrist? That is your lower arm. And between wrist and tip, your hands. This is your hand. This is your hand. Now let's take the leg. This is the left leg. Now this is the joint attached to the trunk. Which is the joint attached to the trunk? It's the hip joint. So this is the hip joint. This is the hip joint. And what is the next joint? Knee joint. And then the next is the ankle joint. So this is your leg. So if you have some heel pain or anything, you can just press this. Tomorrow I'll tell you how to put the seats. If you have a knee pain, this is the knee. This. And this is your hip. So now we have mapped everything. So easy, no? So I know so many of my colleagues' children who learned and they know how to treat themselves for some small things. It's so easy. So you just have to remember the correspondence of the organs, correspondence of the face, the back, and your hands and legs. Tomorrow we will see how to apply the seats. So all those who are attending tomorrow, I want you to get a tape. It's called as a paper tape or a surgical tape in any medical shop. You will have, I think those who are already into acupressure, you will have the tapes with you. And keep some seeds handy. Like seeds, like keep some methi seeds and maybe some pepper and some chana or matar, black chana. The white chana is too big. You can have the black chana or matar, dried peas or dried chana, and have some kidney beans like double beans or rajma, some beans you have which are shaped like kidney. So we'll see how to apply it for the kidney. So now I can open the session for doubts. You can ask me anything you want to ask.
Ma'am, very, very clear. I mean, you have it so much, the clarity is there in you, and therefore you were able to tell us. Very good class. Thank you so much. It's beautiful. It's
Thank
just
you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Ma'am, one question.
Yeah.
The MS point is between this skin or it is here?
Here.
Here.
Yeah.
Just the web of the finger.
Yeah, web. Best is if you want to
thank you so
apply
much.
seeds, you can do it throughout.
Ma'am, thank you so much. Your session was so clear, crystalline clear. It was very, very easy to understand. And
Yeah.
your PPT
No, that's
was
not my session. This therapy itself is easy. That's why. It's nothing to do with me. It's such a simple, beautiful. Tomorrow I'll give you with examples what all problems you can treat, which I have treated.
But you deliver it so well. Not everybody can do it. So it's
Yes,
really good.
definitely. Yes, that's true. 100%.
Ma'am, where is the breast located?
Huh?
Breast.
Here, this portion. Here, the chest portion will be here.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. It was very
Very,
clear.
very good question. Very good question.
And as I told, the best way, if you don't have any problem, is activate your hands. That's all.
Sir, can you,
can
ma'am,
do-
can you please just tell me the location of the breast on the hand, please?
Here.
Okay.
Right and left. And this, no, what you can do for activation is, you can use rings. If you don't have, simply when you're sitting, do this,
Right.
like this. And then at the back. Very simple, right? And just twist your hands, twist your fingers. Like this, go on twisting. Okay? And do this, all the edges. And beat. And there are very good points here. Though we don't use in the correspondence, it's not there. It's there in the meridians. Just do it. That's all. It will take you 5 minutes.
Mega meridians.
Is there a particular time that we should do this? Let's say we need to do it not on a full stomach or something like that.
No. You're not doing anything with your body, na? It's okay.
Okay.
That's only when you exercise, because there's a chance you will throw up. And for all of you who have pains, everything, I tell you, all of you take to yoga. Please do 15-20 minutes of stretching exercises every day. It will lubricate your joints. It will keep your joints flexible. Today, one person had come. I was telling, see, do animals have an elbow like this? No. Only we have, no? And your shoulder joint is a ball and socket joint. Mechanical engineers will know. So it is meant for, a ball and socket joint is meant to move like this. So your shoulder has evolved for rotation. So in our daily activities, we don't use the joints the way it has evolved. Because our activities now don't need all that. So these joints have evolved over thousands of years, and in 100 years, our lifestyle has changed. So we don't do all that. So what happens is, naturally you will get pains. So you don't even do yoga, don't do asanas, anything. Just activation of joints, please do every day. 15-20 minutes is all that you require, and that will keep every...
The way God has made our joints, all the joints, so we should move all the joints in the similar direction or the same direction, so that lubrication would be there, and all the joints and the muscles would work in the proper way.
Yes. You need to move.
Thank you so much.
For example, these fingers are flexible. You know, the joints are flexible. Animals don't have this. So you have to do all this. And work with your hands. I tell everybody, work with your hands. Okay? Whatever you do gardening, you love gardening, garden with your hands. You love cooking, do everything with your hands. As much as possible, use your hands and legs to be healthy. And tomorrow, please keep the seats ready. Otherwise, it will be boring. I'll be just demonstrating. It would be good if you...
Ma'am, in case the whole body ache is there, what can we do, ma'am?
Whole body ache. If it is because of some issue, you have to treat the issue. But if it is because you don't use your body much or anything, 10 minutes of quick exercise would, over a period, would definitely reduce body pains.
No, ma'am, in hands I'm asking.
In hands, all of them. Whole body means...
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, it works for pains. What about the wounds, madam? If some wound is there
We'll
in
see
ankle.
tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll see.
Okay.
I'll tell you the different cases when you can apply and when it will work and when it may not work. Okay. I think I'll hand it over to Ravindra, sir.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Friends, I have a very important announcement. Friends, you know our, you may be knowing that our acupressure Shodh Prashikshan Evam Upchar Samsthan is conducting, courses, certificate, diploma, advanced diploma, master diploma courses in acupressure, where the concept, fundamentals, principles, the theory behind this acupressure science will be explained in detail. And you can become a very good therapist. The courses are conducted online. Every January and July, new semester starts. And my institution, Ishan, Institute for Self-Healing through Acupressure and Naturopathy, is a coordinator for our Samsthan. Those who want to join, learn acupressure thoroughly, you can join for this online correspondence course, certificate course, diploma, etc. And it will be online by sitting at home. You can learn. There will be around 45 hours of teaching on weekends, and recordings will be provided. And the fees is only 7,000 rupees per semester for up to 4 semesters. Okay, 5th and 6th semesters will cost 9,500 rupees. But one can become really an expert, and you can make your home medicine free. You can make your family medicine free by learning acupressure. It is quite simple. And, today you might have understood that, our beloved faculty, Dr. Uma Rao, said, she is really expert, had the skill to communicate in such a beautiful manner that, the essence directly, she was able to communicate beautifully in the easiest possible manner. So on behalf of every one of you, I thank Uma Rao for conducting such a wonderful class. It will be continued tomorrow if necessary. I think we will continue the session in the days to come also. Every weekend, or at least once or twice a
I
week.
want to add to Ravindra, sir, age is not a barrier. Because when we were studying, there was one Gupta ji who was 80 years old, and he learnt acupressure and he started treating people also. So
Yeah.
please encourage people to enroll for the program.
Yeah, very nice. Those who have not yet joined Ishan group, you can contact me in my number. I'll add you in the group. So all the information about our free study classes will be sent to you through the groups. And I request every one of you to please systematically, you can learn acupressure by joining the courses conducted by our Samsthan. Okay, you can contact me. I'll send you for, all the details. And those who are not yet joined our group, you are welcome to join. You can message me. I'll include you in the group. So once again, I thank Dr. Uma Rao for rendering a beautiful session. We'll catch up again tomorrow at sharp 7:30. Tomorrow will be much more interesting because we'll directly go to treatment aspect of the seed therapy.
Yeah. Please have the
So
seats
till-
ready.
Yeah. So
Thank you, sir and ma'am. Thank you.
till we meet tomorrow, I'll bid goodbye. Good night. We'll see you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
sir. Thank you all.
sir.
We'll
Thanks,
meet
ma'am.
tomorrow.
That's
Okay.
a great session we had today.